Even if you don't hire me, I want you to know that a logo should not be your first step. And I know that, when you start a business, you're excited. It's a very exciting thing, but it is hard work. And so you want to make sure that you start on the right foot. And so, in the excitement, you go running, you run to Fiverr, wherever, find a graphic designer and you say, hey, I have this idea. I want you to make me a logo. And they go ahead and they do that, but you haven't sat down to really strategize, how this business is going to work, who you're going to tackle, so on and so forth. And so pump the brakes, skirt, hold up, wait just a moment, and, breathe and strategize. The first thing you want to know is, what is the purpose of your business? What does your business stand for? Why does it even exist? And let me just plug real quick. I do have a freebie that's available if you sign on to, if you click the link in my bio and you subscribe to my list, you will get, the first part of our brand strategy session that teaches you how to create your purpose statement. So that was my quick little plug. But it's important for you to know why your brand exists, why your business exists. Other things to think of are, who will your target audience be? How will you speak to them? What are their pain points? How do you alleviate that pain from them? If you're starting a business, you always want to solve a problem. Why will people need you? What is your secret sauce? What makes you special from the next, as Africans say, Tom, Dick, and Harry? What makes you different from them? What's your personality? What's your attitude? What is your archetype? There's so many things that you need to sit down and consider before you start making decisions about the visual components of your business, because those foundational matters are what help you or train your mind to decide on behalf of your audience and behalf of the result that you're trying to achieve, rather than your own personal convictions. Hey, my favorite color is this, but yet it's not a personal brand. So, you can't rely on what looks good just to your eye. I mean, I do agree that you should love your logo, but sometimes, you need to think about what will attract the people that you're trying to bring in. And sometimes certain colors may not work for a specific audience, but you will only know that if you sit down and you strategize and you plan who you're selling to, who you're talking to, and how you plan to reach them. And so, understanding all these things, that I mentioned earlier, help you make the right decisions, not just for your audience, but for your brand as a whole, because it gives you some guiding principles that you can constantly go back to. And so I'm going to plug myself once again. Here at Gyidi, we offer our brand strategy workshop. It is, at the moment, 3 hours long. And you may think that that's a long time, but everyone who has taken it has talked so much about how beneficial it was, how much clarity it gave them about their business and what they were doing well, what they were not doing well, and how they could make changes. And so in this strategy session, we talk about your brand core, your brand positioning, and your brand persona. Your brand core really deals with, the purpose statement, which again is free if you subscribe to my list. We also talk about your vision and your values. When it comes to positioning, we talk about your audience, your market, creating a positioning statement. How will you live in the minds of your consumers? And then we also talk about your personality, because the same way that each person, we're all different. We have things that make us stand out. Your brand is the same way. You should view your brand as, this imaginary person that you're creating, that you're building and making people fall in love with. And so that brand needs to have a personality. It needs to have an attitude. It has a way that, it speaks to people, that it represents you. And so these are all things that you also need to, think about before you make choices about your logo. And so, as I mentioned, our brand strategy workshop helps you do all of that, and it brings you the utmost clarity about your business and where you're trying to go. And so, my name is Cynthia Kita. I work here at Gyidi Design Firm as a brand strategist and a web designer. And here, we create thriving brands that stand the test of time through strategy, because it's important to us that you are not in a state where you're constantly rebranding and confusing your audience. And so, even if you don't hire me, I find it important for you to know that a logo should never, never, never be your first step. If you hire us, we would be so happy to work with you, and I know that you would enjoy yourself. But until next time, do not start with your logo first. See ya.